Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Crossroads Conversations. I'm so glad you're tuning in. This podcast is all about bringing together diverse voices to explore topics like sociology, literature, arts and culture, and social impact. We'll be having conversations with folks from NGOs, diplomats, creative artists, and some incredible voices from both on and off campus. And our goal is to uncover unique perspectives and dive into thought-provoking discussions. Today, I will introduce you to the amazing hosts of Crossroads Conversations. And we'll be having one or two hosts every episode, and then we'll deep dive into important topics and everything from activism to digital culture, from storytelling to identity. And so let's get started. But before we dive into today's conversation, let me introduce myself. I am Merve İlhan, Creative Director of Ankara Expat, and I'm super passionate about culture, cinema, storytelling, and creating spaces for meaningful conversations. With my international background, I've always been fascinated by how arts and culture can bring people together and create connections across different communities. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to the incredible guests who are joining me here today at the studio. They are bringing their expertise and unique experiences to the table. So first up, we've got Said Fakih, founder of Ankara Expat, a community-driven platform that connects expats through art, cinema, and social engagement. Hi, Said.
Hi, happy to be here.
Glad to have you here. And next, we've got Dr. Jared Emright, assistant professor of sociology at TED University. He focuses on digital sociology, social movements, and activism. Hi, Jared.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have you here. And last but not least, we have Dr. Oliver David Bevington, Assistant Professor of English Language and Literature at TED University, specializing in modernist poetry, ecological literature, and Gothic fiction.
Hello, thank you for the invite.
Oh, thank you very much for being here. And so I'm really excited to have you all over here. And Said, let's start with you. Can you share a bit about your journey and what brought you here today?
Thank you, Merve. Thank you for the introduction. And I'm very happy to be here today to kickstart the conversations, Crossroads Conversations. And yeah, so first of all, I'm the founder of Ankara Expat, as she said. And for me, I've spent most of my life as an expat. So for me, having this community, which I started in 2022, is something which I value a lot. And I believe we can express our cultures and our different backgrounds through cinema, art, and other form of creative events, which we already do, and I hope we keep doing in Ankara. Yeah, that's me. I'm a very boring guy. What can I say?
Oh, I think there's going to be a really good conversation over there that we'll hear good stuff from you. And
Thank you.
Jared, could you tell us a little bit about yourself as well, please?
Sure, thanks. My name is Jared Wright. I am an American, but I'm now living in Turkey. I've been here for about 5 years now, so I'm also an expat. But professionally, I'm a sociologist, so I study culture and society, especially how technology and society interact with one another. I'm very interested in that, including how digital spaces shape the way people interact with each other, identity, activism, even global social movements, things along those lines. So my research, especially, I focus on how people use social media a lot to connect with one another, to organize, to share information, and how this is sort of reshaping our world these days. Mm-hmm. So I'm very interested to bring a bit of a sociological perspective to our conversations.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's really sound interesting. That's really good. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. And Oliver, can you introduce yourself to the listeners as well, please?
Of course, more than happy to. My name is Dr. Oliver Bevington. I am assistant professor in our English Language and Literature department here at TEDU. I focus on ecological criticism, specifically with a bent towards contemporary and modernist literature. I've been at TEDU now, I guess, almost 5 years. 3 years, forgive me, in Turkey for 5 years. And I'm an expat, of course, and I suppose slightly differently than, or perhaps in a similar way than my colleagues, the reason I came to Turkey was love.
Oh, that's lovely.
My wife is Turkish. We met when we were both doing our PhDs, and years later I find myself in this wonderful place.
Oh, okay. Glad you're enjoying it. So again, nice to meet you guys, all of you. And let's talk about TED University for a second, and because we're like in the studio located in TED University, and thank you for giving us this opportunity for this Crossroads conversations as well. Jared and Oliver, can you introduce TED University to us a little bit, and what makes it stand out as an institute in Ankara or generally in Turkey? Like, what do you?
As I understand, TED has a long-standing history as a provider of education in Turkey that stretches back to 100 years almost. Please correct me if I'm mistaken. Their development into tertiary levels of education, so the university, is newer, of course, but it seeks to maintain the same standards of education and higher, I suppose, that it has achieved over its 100-year lifetime, really. That's how I conceive of it. I'm sure my colleague Jared Hodger would be able to add to that, though.
Yeah, thanks. I think TED is a wonderful university. It's been really nice working here so far. This is my first university position since I finished my PhD, so it's been a very welcoming and comfortable institution, especially for a foreigner coming to Turkey for the first time. They have made things a very easy transition for me, and they really provide a great academic freedom. One of the things I'm very impressed with about this university, they give us a lot of space to do the things that we want, to be critical thinkers, to explore lots of different areas of society, which is very special. And also, I think because it's a small private university, I get the chance to have a closer relation and interaction with my students. Classes are generally pretty small, as opposed to like in the United States when I was a student. You know, we sometimes would have giant classes of like 100 or more students in one class, and it was very impersonal sometimes. So that's one of the great things about this space here.
I can also add, like, from what I see, is that because we've done some events in here in TED University as well, and I can see that there's actually a lot of foreign, non-local students. So it gives that multicultural background to Ankara as well, you know, because sometimes in some of the universities they're just locals, like Turkish locals. Yes. So it's actually really good to have people from different backgrounds, you know, from different languages that they know, and so you can interact with them.
I absolutely agree. In fact, last year, valedictorian, I think that would be the American term, for our institute was a young student, brilliant young student from Morocco. Brilliant student, excelled academically, of course. That's not to say that our Turkish students don't as well, you know.
Course, yeah.
But we do have a relatively diverse range of students, which I welcome and I think is wonderful. And a diverse range of tutors as much as we can.
Oh, yeah, that's important, yeah.
Yeah, I for the past couple of years, I've been the sponsor for the faculty sponsor, I think you call it, for the International Student Society at TED. So I get to work with a lot of them, and I can certainly relate to their position as international students and the things that they go through, but they have, you know, the way they're able to sort of create a community as well has been really inspiring to see. And yeah, they bring a lot of interesting perspective to TED. And oftentimes are actually, yes, I would say some of the best students I've ever seen too, because I feel like they have to work really hard to get here, and they're, you know, very overachievers sometimes.
Oh, perfect, yeah, because you have to know English as well, so like, you know, so that's a plus for students.
So often they're trilingual at the very least.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You know, which is a remarkable thing. I mean, I'm a professor and I'm barely trilingual. Barely. Seriously, my Turkish is, you know,
You'll
not...
get there, yeah.
I'll get there.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Biraz Türkçe biliyorum. I'm still learning myself. Yeah.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
Evid.
Oh, that's great. And Sayed, would you be able to tell us about Ankara Expat a little bit? I know it's an important cultural hub, so can you tell us about the journey and like all the achievements that you made over the years?
Sure.
Perhaps.
But before I start about you two, we are just a platform, nowhere close to such a esteemed institution, TED University, and as you said, probably 100 years old, which is something older than where I'm from. Yeah. A country. My country is not even 100 years old. frankly speaking. And we have done 2 events with your Oliver, Dr. Oliver, with your department specifically, with the help of Taner Hujam, who's not here with us today, but he also played a very vital role in this joint collaboration between Ankara Expat and TED University at large. Coming back to Ankara Expat, as Merve asked, we are very small. When I started this, it was a very, very small initiative, purely limited to social media at very best. And slowly we were approached by some art institutions in Ankara, like Modern, other people. And then the first event which we did was Expat Film Festival in 2022, which was funded by the Turkish Ministry of Culture and Tourism, Cinema General Directorate of Turkey, and Modern and Ankara Expat. We were there. So it was one of the most first event. Actually, till today, one of the biggest one we ever did, and was also the first one we ever did. So it was so interesting. It was for 5 nights back to back. We showed Turkish movies to our expats in Ankara, diplomats in Ankara. There was the entire teams of Italian embassy and other people who came. So it was amazing. And then from there, we started to do more initiatives. We started to approach, or we were being approached also by some embassies. We started working with Mexican embassy. We brought a very, very good author, Jose Yavuz. She spent a lot of time in Mexico. She wrote a really good book about Mexican folk culture and myths. And we gave her a platform in Ankara to talk about it and also do book signing events. And the Mexican embassy also supported that event. So we are just trying to highlight as a community, as a platform, different parts of the world, different voices in Ankara, even though, frankly speaking, there is not that many foreigners in Ankara, which I'm sure both of you might agree with me. I hope you agree.
Yeah, not compared to Istanbul
Of
necessarily or something like that. But
Like I was born in Dubai, so over there I think 70% is expats.
I grew up in Houston, Texas as well, which is also very, very diverse in terms of immigration. But yeah.
So I wanted to bring those voices or a sense of those things, in Ankara, or at least put it on the, do events featuring different cultures, which some universities are doing within their own campus. Again, I'm not studying in Ankara. So for me, I did not have access to those type of voices. And also simultaneously, we are also trying to help expats and Turkish diaspora who used to live in overseas countries. Now they're back in Turkey. Most of them who want to learn English, French, they join our community. We also work with Institut Français and other many organizations in Ankara. And we have most of our people who join our events at large are actually Turkish people. And you see the interest they have to learn about different cultures in Ankara. Most of them. And they're coming to us. They're coming for cinema screenings. We also have our own communities. And simultaneously, the goal at the end of the day is to also help expats mainly. For example, if you have anything, we have a community here. So you can come to us. We will try to assist you in whatever way we can. Like helping you make friends, helping you, have a social life. We are here. I'm a very outgoing guy, frankly speaking. So for me, this means a lot. And I'm very, very happy to see people like organizations like TED University, Taner Hujam, both of you, Merve, a lot of people who are supporting and, they're always part of our different initiatives. Like now this podcast, I hope Merve will tell more about those things. So, yeah, we are still new. I would say even though it's been 3 years now, but still we are very new and we have more to learn and more to do for Ankara.
That really sounds interesting, but can you also tell what is next for Ankara Expat? Like, will you be having more events coming up soon? Do you have any plan with TED University or just in general, if you have anything for the future?
Yes, we have so many good things happening. We have good things happening with the French Embassy, Institut Français, our own initiatives. We are also taking. We are trying to do workshops too. Well, psychological workshops. We are partnering up with a clinic in Ankara. I will not name them over here, of course. They have some therapists who studied in Canada. The Turkish diaspora, but they studied there. Now they're back in Ankara. So they will do some well-being activities, taking a break from our busy lives in Ankara. So we have these small initiatives throughout the year. On a bigger end, I'm not expecting something very big within the coming few months. And we are working, maybe we can revive the Expat Film Festival, which itself is a very, very big thing. But again, we are very active. More events coming. with the Mexican culture. It's being highlighted. More of our own initiatives, workshops. We are also looking forward to partner with the ceramic workshop things. All of our events are mainly catered for free and for English-speaking audiences, because that's the international language spoken. But a lot of people do come. As I said, from South America. There's a very big community of South Americans in Ankara. You guys would be very surprised to know, actually. There's a lot of Colombians in Ankara, actually. A lot of Spanish-speaking people. So we are trying to cater to them too. Let's see. Maybe we might have smaller events in different languages too.
That's perfect, because I think Ankara especially, and I mean Oliver and maybe Jared, you'll say it as well, like yourself as well, say it, that we actually need that bridge between international students, or like in general international people with the Turkish local people, because as myself a local person, sometimes I even find that's like I'm an outsider per se. Like I'm not gonna say like in a bad way as well, because I've lived abroad for a while. That sometimes I just feel like I don't 100% belong in here, but at the same times I feel like I do belong in here as well. But that I think that kind of bridges between when you get to know other people from different backgrounds, and then I think it's really important, especially like for international students as well. Like people come and speak in Turkish maybe with those people, or maybe for Turkish people to get to know about the other.
Yep. One thing I forgot to mention, international students too. With Taner Hujam, once in our very first ever meeting, which we had last year, almost 2024, in that I wanted to also add more international students to our community, or involve them in some way, and those were the blind spot I always had. So I'm working on that too, and I hope with podcast projects like these, with also even Isad, even everybody who's playing a very key role in this podcast, international students is something which Ankara has the majority of expats, or as you can see, foreigners, the term of foreigners, or yabancı as they say in Turkish. The majority of yabancıs in Ankara, as per Goçedar's website, if I remember correctly, is international students in Ankara. And followed by refugees, followed by expats, then followed by diplomats. So international students is something we can also work to facilitate with the help of TED University, of new arrivals.
I think we can definitely help with that. And hopefully I speak on behalf of TED when I say that we're happy to work with you as well. As an expat, I also feel that same kind of outsider status sometimes, but I also feel a bit like an informal cultural ambassador sometimes for my own country here, and it's really great to have a platform to be able to connect with other people like that, and be able to share stories and interact more with the Turkish community especially.
Thank you.
Would you like to add, Oliver? Or?
Absolutely. Well, I suppose as the literature professor, I have to dive into that a little bit, and I think of Orhan Pamuk's Nobel Prize acceptance speech. And he said, I wanted to tell the world in my writing, this is Pamuk speaking, of course, what it is like to live here, and what it's like to live on the periphery of something. And then as I was writing over all these years, I realized that it wasn't actually about a geographical location. It was about a feeling inside, that we all sometimes feel like we live on the periphery of something. A rather beautiful phrase, I think. And a lot of what I think you have said and what you're talking about is making people feel that they're not on the periphery. And I think that's really powerful. That's a literary academic's point of view on this.
Well, that's
anyway.
well put. Thank you very much.
Well, actually, Orhan Pamuk's point of view, so I stole his words.
I'm glad I met you. These conversations in my circle, in Merbe might be. We need people like you.
Oh, bless.
I love this type of thinking. Thinking and trying to because my English is, frankly speaking, not that good, because it's a third language for me.
Your English is magnificent.
Thank you. So in my own native language, I try to read or say poets, and different types of way of expressing my emotions. So I love the way you did it. You put it spot on. And
Again, Orhan Pamuk.
I'll note.
Well, okay, so like we sort of summed up with what we talked about in terms of what this Crossroads conversations will be happening, and we will be having you as hosts over the next episodes, and experts like yourself, and so I'm really looking forward to it, because it will be, as I believe, that's going to be a bit of academic, but at the same time, your experiences as someone living in Ankara, for example, or as someone living as been there and done that.
A human.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we'll come on do this. And say, Jared and Oliver, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
It's been a blast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been a blast to get to know you. And I'm really looking forward to these conversations that we will be having over the next episodes. And we've learned a lot about TED University's role in shaping intellectual discussions, and Ankara Expat in fostering cultural exchange, especially what we need here in Ankara, Turkey, as I believe. And is there anything you would like to add before we turn it off?
Well, just that I really look forward to this. I look forward to meeting people and talking with them, learning about their stories and their lives, and relating to them as well through my own experiences and, academic knowledge as well, but yeah, on a personal level. I really enjoy this kind of thing, so thank you all for giving me the opportunity to be able to do this.
Oh, really looking forward to that. And Oliver?
And I agree wholeheartedly. I think this is a wonderful idea, a great opportunity for cross-cultural connection, which is so important. And something that we really try to foster here at TED. Clearly everyone around this table is trying to do the same thing. I can't wait. I'm really excited by it, and I want to thank you for letting me be part of it.
And Sayed, is there the last words?
Again, all thanks and gratefulness is always there, but for me, we have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 hosts, and I hope we have the same amount of guests. And for example, if we have a upcoming guest, we can match it to whatever professional background they have with you guys. So this is something which is amazing, and including me myself also, if I feel like the guest, maybe I can relate more with him. So I see there's a lot of melting pots of professions and everything happening on this podcast. So I think we can have really, really powerful, meaningful conversations upcoming when we have dedicated episodes. Starting from, this was just an introduction of all of us here, and I think we can do amazing work. And the fact that I'm sure there might be so many good voices in Ankara that we are yet to discover. For me personally, I believe Ankara is a very small city. Physically, it's very big, but socially, it's a very, very small city. Everybody knows everybody, or indirectly or directly. So for me, I'm looking for. I know I know really, really cool people in Ankara who I really believe I want to work with them. Maybe I've worked with them through Ankara Expat before, and with whom I have not worked with, I think it would be good for me to bring them here. And I think Taner Hojam has a lot of people in mind too. And this is, in my opinion, on paper, it sounds like it's too much diverse in terms of professionally speaking. But when we will start to see guests coming, it will all make sense. Thank you again.
Yeah, I think the listeners out there will enjoy this quite a lot, hearing from all the different people, highlighting these unique voices across Ankara. So.
Yep.
Well, definitely. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Crossroads Conversations. Make sure to stay tuned for more episodes where we'll be chatting with NGOs, diplomats, creative artists, and some amazing voices from campus. And
off campus.
And off campus, of course,
Sorry.
yes.
Sorry to cut you off.
Thanks, yeah. And thanks for listening, and stay curious, and we'll see you next in the intersection of thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.